Hello, and welcome to another episode of the We Don't Wanna podcast. This is the show where two certified dipshits make uncertified takes about your favorite shows. We are your hosts. I am Scott, and joining me, as always, he has promised that we will discuss no baseball this episode. It is
I didn't know such thing.
Zach, listen, we lost. We don't actually know this for sure, but we lost at least 95% of our audience with all the baseball talk last week. I have no proof of that, considering that episode is yet to release. But I'm just going to go ahead and assume. You, on the other hand, have decided to go full mustache, like you're a 17-year-old about trying to be signed as a relief pitcher. Mustache out here. What is happening? What is happening right now?
I just felt it, you know.
Yeah, I love it.
I just felt it. Thanks,
truly embracing your inner Mexican.
My shitty stash.
Yeah, definitely. It's. Please keep doing that. Just occasionally for the rest of the episode. Just every couple minutes, give me a little. I need
a cue on screen to remind me.
I'll try to remind you. How are you doing this week, pal? And don't talk about baseball. Do not talk about.
Okay,
baseball.
I am doing very good, Scott. How
Excellent.
are you?
Oh, so good, so good. What's baseball? I couldn't even know what it was.
I couldn't even know what it was either. What did you even say?
I don't listen. I said it, and then I was like, "Don't call me on this. Don't call me on this one."
Hey,
damn
so
you.
Speaking of not baseball,
yes, of course. Speaking of not baseball,
you saw that video of that kid doing the bat flip in the front yard.
I literally sent that to you, and this is not speaking of not baseball.
I mean, it's a kid. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. True, it's not like Major League Baseball.
There's no baseball in the video.
True,
actually.
Just a bat. True.
You sent that video?
Yes, I was the one that sent it to you.
I
You're an idiot. It doesn't matter. A kid clonks himself in the head with a bat, and it makes a real good. I feel like that sound had to be added in. It's too perfect of a sound.
Man. That's a. I think that sounds legit.
It's pretty good. It's very funny. It's very funny. Is that all you've been doing non-baseball related this week?
Yeah, man. I mean,
since we last recorded a whole week ago, aside from shaving and.
Yeah, I mean, I've had in that whole week I had time to shave.
Yeah, so much time. Yep.
Grow out the.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate the commitment. Let's see if you can keep it up.
Yeah, it's How are you doing this week, man?
Just phenomenal. Just so phenomenal.
Yeah.
I can't even express.
We played Super Smash Brothers the other night.
Oh, we did.
Fucking time.
That was a great time. When we get the boys all together and just do some shenanigans on Smash, it's a good time.
Yeah. I got a little drunk.
We like to smash with the boys.
I got pretty drunk.
You did get pretty drunk. You were. I knew how drunk you were when you were on my team, and you were just so useless, just absolutely garbage useless.
Yeah. I feel like I distinctly remember me yelling "grapple" like over and over again.
You had a real moment of panic where you were like so far ahead, and then you started to lose it, and you just panicked and started screaming "grapple," and you lost. You lost big time.
We should start streaming our Smash shenanigans.
Probably not, but
yeah, probably not. But
listen, I'm pretty sure we get banned for smashing with the boys, if you know what I mean.
Always, dude. Always.
I love a good smash with the boys. Speaking of, that doesn't work. The Ghost of Harrenhal.
Speaking of smashing with the boys.
Speaking of that, we're talking Game of Thrones episode 15, The Ghost of Harrenhal. Finally, is this our first good name? God damn it. Is this our first good named episode of this season? Because I feel like all the names of these episodes have been trash.
Episode names have been rough.
Yeah. Who's naming these episodes? Yeah.
Yeah, we're back. We're talking Game of Thrones. We're talking the Ghost of Harrenhal, episode 5 of season 2.
Hell yeah.
Or episode 15 of the Game of Thrones series of our podcast.
That's what we have on the screen here, so let's assume.
Right there on the screen. Right there on the Spotify, Apple, whatever the fuck you're listening or watching on.
Let's hope that's correct. Are you ready to jump in here, brother?
Yeah, man. Why don't you kick us off?
Okay. I wonder what surprises Zach has hidden for me this week in this week's recap.
I mean, hey.
We're about to find out. We begin with negotiations between our girl Kat and Renly when they are very rudely interrupted by Melisandre's shadow shit baby thing. Why is it a shit baby?
I mean, just cuz, look at that thing, dude.
Fair enough. Shadow shit baby thing. It puts a shadow dagger through Renly's heart. Lots of shadows going on. Yugi would love this episode. Yugi! Send you to the Shadow Realm! Littlefinger advises Loras and Marjorie to go back to Highgarden. We learn of Marjorie's ambitions to be the queen. Not just a queen, the queen. Yes. With Renly's bannermen flocking to Stannis, he will have the advantage in numbers, and Cersei throws a temper tantrum with Tyrion as he tries to discuss siege preparations. Tyrion learns from not Loras.
I'm sorry.
Lancel.
Yeah,
Tyrion, AKA
Let's just name him
Jamie.
AKA.
AKA, all right. Diet Jamie Lancel that Cersei and Choff plan on utilizing a massive cache of wildfire. There are hundreds of pots stored beneath the city, and they are making more. In the Stormlands, Davos tries to tell Stannis about what he saw in the cave, shadow shit babies. Davos is charged with leading the fleet into battle at Blackwater Bay. At the Iron Islands, Theon learns the hard way. He needs to earn the respect of the men he's expected to lead. Yara yet again dunks on his ass, and he's set out with his first mate, Dagger Cleftjaw.
No, his name's Dagmer. I think that was
It is, yeah, it's Dagmer. I thought you were trying to make some kind of a joke there.
No, it's not a joke. It's just autocorrect and trying to fly through these notes.
Good old Dagger Cleftjaw. Dagmer Cleftjaw.
Dagmer's a cool fucking name.
Dagmer is a solid name. Dagger might be cooler, though. Meanwhile, Arya sits in as cupbearer on Tywin's war meetings. Tywin shows a great deal of humility as he acknowledges how they have underestimated Robb Stark. He then questions Arya in front of his war council about where she is from and what they say of Robb in, quote, the North. I don't know why I did that. There's no quotes. While Arya is fetching water, she runs across our boy, Jack and Hagar, where he explains an unspoken contract of owing 3 deaths to the Red God for Arya saving himself and the other 2 he was with. He says Death wants them back. Arya is awarded 3 names, and Jack and Hagar will kill whoever she says.
The show could have been over.
It could, yeah.
Let's just be real here, man.
Listen, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Arya and her decisions. Is
north
this
of
what
the wall.
you were gonna pick up? Jesus Christ, Zach. Look alive!
Ignacio!
You have a real Ignacio vibe mustache going on right now. Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to do it slower every time.
No, please don't. You're dragging out my son.
Our audio listeners probably hate our ass
so much. They hate us.
Oh, man. Okay, north of the wall, the great ranging party reaches the fists in my ass of the first man.
It's just fist. There's only one singular, first of all.
I'm pretty sure I have multiple fists.
True! Big true on that one. Big true.
Oh, shit, dude.
Shit.
Okay.
They
reach the fist of the first men, an ancient mountain range. And Dolorous Ed is very excited about it.
Aunt Dolorous Ed? It's Dolorous Ed.
Dolorous. Dude, autocorrect, bro.
Good old Aunt Dolores. Shit. And like a 2-year-old wrote these notes.
Oh, fuck me, dude. Dollars.
Jesus Christ.
He's so excited about it.
He's so
They
excited.
are also joined by Corran Halfhand and his own ranging party.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrion and Bronn talk some shit to the pyromancer, and they are shown the stores of wildfire. Tyrion has seemed to have come up with a plan as he instructs the pyromancer that he will be making wildfire for him now, and no longer for Cersei. Dany decides what dress to wear, and that's about it. And then we can just leave the East.
If only. I wish.
Yeah, I know. There's a bit more East in this episode that I prefer. Okay, so she decides what dress to wear, and she mingles at some type of like Carthian market
I think
or
it's a party, dude.
a party,
Yeah.
whatever it is, where she is visited by one Pyat Pri, a warlock who makes me very uncomfortable.
True.
Yes. Jorah speaks with a masked woman who is very seemingly important.
Okay, don't go down this road. Don't go down this road with me. Let's.
Good old Duck Sauce proposes a marriage to Dany and promises to give her half of his wealth to buy ships, armies, and horses to cross the sea. Dany is considering this and argues with Jorah when he advises her against it. Kat and Brienne share the road back to Robb's camp, and Kat consoles Brienne for Renly's death. Brienne then just basically is a hood hopper and just like wants to serve anybody always. So like I don't know how long she's even known Kat. Didn't seem like she liked her at first, and now she's like, yo, I'll die for you.
Her and Kat are best of friends. I don't know
They're
what you're talking
fucking
about.
they're like this,
They're
bro.
old mates from way back.
They're like this, bro.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus, man. So yeah, Brienne swears her sword to Kat, and Kat accepts.
Mm-hmm.
At Winterfell, Bran receives word that Torrhen's Square is under siege from none other than, well, obviously he doesn't know this, but Theon Greyjoy.
Spoilers. God.
I mean,
Yeah.
they talked about it in this episode. What are you talking
They
about?
did. It's true.
Oh, and last episode, excuse me.
One of them episodes.
One of these episodes that we talked about today.
No,
I mean,
it
last
is
week.
It is this episode.
It is this episode. Okay. He allows Sir Roderick to take 200 men to battle there, leaving Winterfell severely undermanned. Bran tells Osha he dreamt of the ocean crashing against the walls of Winterfell and flooding Winterfell.
What could that possibly mean?
What could it mean?
Mm-hmm.
North of the wall, Corran Halfhand plans to take a camp of wildlings and then sneak in to kill Mance Rayder. Jon requests to join him and is granted that request. So he goes off with Corran.
Butter smooth.
Butter smooth.
Butter smooth.
At Harrenhal, the first man that Arya names, quote, the Tickler, one of the men who was torturing...
The torturer, basically.
The torturer, right. Falls to his death. And Arya looks up to see one Jaqen Hagar looking down at her, the smug-ass face.
Tear.
Yeah, he's like...
Oh, so sad. Did he fall to his death, or did the fact that his head was twisted completely around have something to do with his death? Maybe?
I mean,
who could
the world
say
may
what
never
actually killed him? Yeah,
the world may never know.
There's no coroners in the Game of Thrones universe. I don't think so. We'll never know what actually
There is
killed
one
him.
Corran Halfhanders.
Oh, the transitions. Why don't we just start there? Why don't we start in the north?
Yeah, so
because I was a big hater of Jon's storyline last week.
Yeah, we have a big new introduction.
Yeah.
Corran Halfhand.
Who
The
gets
dude is a legend.
Some big pub. Yeah, he gets some big build up. Even like Lord Commander Mormont is like, yeah, this dude has a giant dick and balls, and he's
And half
cool.
a hand.
And half a hand. He tells Jon like, yeah, everything you've heard about him is true. actually no, it's even more crazier than what you've been told. Yeah, and he wants to basically, I gotta be honest, I don't fully agree with his logic. He basically tells Jorah, he's like, oh, well, Mance Rayder used to be one of us, a brother of the Night's Watch.
Yeah,
so
I took problem with this.
He's teaching the wildlings how to be more like us, so we have to be more like them. And I'm like, I don't know if that logic tracks.
It doesn't, because the Night's Watch have always won.
Yeah, so it super doesn't track. I am on board with what he followed up with of being like, hey, if the theory is sound in that, like, if he has gathered all the wildlings, it doesn't really matter what the Black Brothers do. Like, they probably can't stop that many wildlings. So the idea of assassinating Mance Rayder to scatter them to the winds is a solid plan.
Yes.
It was his rationale for leading up to it that I was just like, what? That doesn't... I don't know,
so
Corrin.
Why, who is Corrin Halfhand? Like, why is he such a big deal?
So he's from the Shadow Tower. I don't think he's the commander of the Shadow Tower. I think there's somebody else, but yeah, he's basically just like
the
living
head ranger of the Shadow Tower.
Yeah, I think that's what he is. That's probably exactly what it is. Like, he's like the Benjen Stark of the Shadow Tower. Kind of a living legend. He's done all this crazy stuff that Jon and Mormont discuss a little bit.
Which for our peeps who are a little bit newer to this world or who don't know where everything's at, the Shadow Tower is the farthest west.
Correct. There are only three currently manned forts on the wall. There's the furthest west one, which is actually, I take that back. Well, it's the furthest manned one, furthest west. I think there is one actually further west than the Shadow Tower, but it's unmanned. The Shadow Tower in the west, Castle Black in the middle, more or less, and Eastwatch by the Sea all the way to the east.
Which is where Janos Slynt was sent, by the way.
Correct.
For reference.
And to this point, we've basically only seen Castle Black. So now we're seeing some men from the Shadow Tower and Corrin. I believe you're correct. I believe he is their first ranger. And yeah, he's a living legend. He basically comes to Mormont with this plan of like, yeah, we should just go assassinate, Mance Rayder. They will be leaderless, scattered without him, and we'll be fine. Solid plan. Jon volunteers to go with them. And big shouts to my boy Sam, who volunteers to take over his duties. I feel like he knows that Jon told him several times, like, all I ever wanted was to be a ranger. And Sam's like, listen, dude, I'll take your duties so you can go live your dream, buddy. So yeah, that will obviously be big going forward. The other stuff up north is kind of just there's some fun banter between like Gren and Ed and Sam. Sam is totally head over heels in love with Gilly, and Ed is just so not having it. What does he say?
Yeah,
Something to the effect of like, there's nothing more irritating than a man in love, or something like that.
Right. I mean, like, being in love is one thing, but like, Sam is just on a whole other level, man.
Well, let's be real. It's from everything Sam has told us and what we know of Sam, this is like his first crush, you know.
Oh yeah.
So he is a little bit head over heels, but I love Sam so much.
And that's about it in the north, because it still hasn't gotten good yet. It's still just like whatever.
Yeah. I called it out last week of like, I don't think Jon's storyline is super interesting, and I like this episode a lot, but this and the stuff in the east, I'm still just like,
Yeah.
So yeah, let's move on. What do you want to hit next?
Let's go to Cat, Renly, that whole shadow ship baby.
Oh yeah, shadow ship baby. Yeah.
So
poor Renly.
You know, they're in the middle of this negotiation, right, on if Renly wins the crown, will he recognize the Norse as its own kind of like sovereign deal?
Right. Which basically is no.
Yeah, Renly's like,
basically, it's like, your son can keep his title, but it's going to be meaningless. I still want his full fealty
as long as he comes to swear fealty. And then she's like, Kat rightfully is like, and what fealty, what oaths would that be? And he's like, the same oaths that Ned, that your husband said to Robert.
So Rob would basically be the Warden of the North for Renly, but it would just have a different title. He would not really be a king in truth. Renly would be king.
Yeah. And so I had to, I didn't remember while I was watching it, but there's a point that I was like, Cat can't make this agreement for him, right? Like this is just terms,
right,
that she's gonna deliver. And then he clarifies, he's like, send your term, or send these terms to your son. And I was like, okay, because like I would love to see how that turns out.
Yeah, like I had the thought of watching this, like it's playing the what if game is a dangerous thing, but like,
sure, if
Renly hadn't been killed by the shadow shit baby, like how different this story could have turned out. Like, because I'm on record as being fairly pro Renly. Like he's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but of the players like kind of in the game, I feel like he would have been one of the better options we have for king for this.
I think it would be, and like I don't know that we could even put Rob in that conversation, because Rob doesn't want to be king,
sit the Iron Throne.
I would say of all the people who are claiming themselves a king, I think Rob would be the best one.
Rob, I see what you're saying.
And then probably Renly.
See, yeah, that's the thing, though, is Rob does not want to sit the Iron Throne. Sure, I probably agree with you. Renly, people love him. He's very charismatic. And from what we saw of him, he seems to care more for, like, governance and about people than Robert did, which that was Robert's downfall, is Robert just kind of, like, bankrupted the realm because he liked to drink and whore and all that stuff. And that wasn't really Renly's game. So I do think Renly could have been a very good king. Like I said, the what if game is dangerous, a dangerous road to go down, but I do think about that sometimes, like, man, things could have gone so differently if, demon shadow magic had not been involved, but that's kind of moot because it was, and now all of Renly's bannermen, minus the Tyrells, which is a very important point, are now on the side of Stannis. They're big flip-floppers. They're just like, oh shit, Renly's dead. Hey Stannis, buddy, you want to go get a soda or something?
What's funny is, like, speaking of Robert just kind of like only really caring about wine and whoring.
Blackberry jam.
Yeah. Pour one out for my guy.
Yeah.
So Amanda has been watching the show, and kind of like she's way behind. She's actually watching at the same pace as our release.
Gotcha.
So she just watched episode 5.
Okay.
Where you get that epic scene between Bobby B and Cersei.
Yeah.
And
that
she's like, what do you want? And he just like tips the glass of wine, and she's like, it's like, dude, you're so on brand, Bobby.
He is on brand is the perfect way to describe him. Like, he is what he claims to be and nothing more. Man, that's a good scene. Shit.
Yeah, it is, dude. That's one of the ones that you nominated, right?
Yes, it is.
Or that we both nominated, I think.
Hey. I have another nomination this episode. I don't know if we want to get to it now or we can come back to it later.
Well, hold on. We're not done with the song.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm very excited about this scene.
Yeah, no. I know, because I have a star next to it.
I think you know exactly the scene.
Oh, yeah. So Renly's dead.
Yeah.
Brienne and Kat freak out.
Yeah.
People think that it was Brienne or Kat or both.
Yeah.
And they flee.
Yep.
The only thing that is left to be done, they flee. And they are heading back to
Rob's
camp.
I have a quick note about that scene. The Brienne swearing her loyalty to Catelyn.
I hate it.
Okay, it wasn't just me.
Dude,
it seems
Brienne
so
is maybe
awkward.
the most cringe character in this show, I think.
I'm trying to be like as positive as possible, like, and I don't want to call out it's just gonna seem like more cat hate, but like that scene seemed so fake and forced, like even just the acting.
Yeah.
And maybe that's compounded by the fact is that this happens to be in the same episode where we get a fucking masterclass in acting.
Right.
But that scene was just kind of bad.
And it is, I have to admit, I think it is a little bit rough because I think what's her name? It's Gwendolyn Christie, right?
Yeah, Gwendolyn Christie, yeah.
I do actually think that she's good, and she does have some shining moments in this series.
Yes, later on, for sure.
And you're right, man. I don't know if it's maybe just the combination with Catelyn. I don't know the actress's name, but it is.
That scene was rough.
It's rough.
Yeah, that stuck out to me.
Fakest shit. Like that. Like I've seen a better performance at a Ren Fair, dude.
You love bringing up Ren Fairs,
bro. That
was very like a local theater production quality. Yeah, it was kind of bad.
Fealty. Yeah, it was.
It was kind of bad.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. I love Davos. Just gonna ride the Davos love train a little bit more. He calls out he is Stannis's man so through and through, but as I have the line here and I want to say it.
Do it some justice, Scotty.
Yes. He says, because he's calling out Stannis, and Stannis is like, I told you we weren't going to talk about this. God damn it. I thought you were my loyal man, blah, blah, blah. Stannis is like, why are you badgering me about all this stuff? And Davos hits him with the loyal service means telling hard truths. And that is just Davos's character.
It's a hell of a line.
It's a hell of a line, and that is just the purest distillation of who Davos is. Like, he is so loyal, but he will speak his mind. He will speak the truth. He will tell you like it is. He is the best. And now he's an admiral. You know, he's giving Stannis all this shit. But Stannis listens to him. He's not going to take Mel with him to the battle. And then he's also like, oh, by the way, you're going to lead our attack into Blackwater Bay. And Stannis, to his credit, hits him back with the solid line of, hard truths cut both ways, said Davos.
Yeah. It's very good.
So
it's a hell of a scene, and I feel like at times I feel like I don't like the guy that plays Stannis. I don't know his name.
Oh, I should know it.
I feel like I don't like his acting, but I have to remind myself he's doing a very good job.
I think he does
Stannis.
Great job of who
I think it's
Stannis
just
is,
Stannis overall that I don't find too interesting. But when we have scenes like this where he's contrasted by somebody like Davos, it makes for a really, really good scene.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's I mean, look, this is not the scene that we want to nominate. In this episode, I guess. I mean, obviously, I'm speaking for you, but
Stephen Delaney, I think, is what it is.
Stephen Delaney. Okay.
Yeah. No, 100%. I like the scene. I love Davos, but no, this isn't the scene.
Even how good this scene is,
yes,
it's still
not. It's not
just soft. Do we save the scene to the end?
Do we keep teasing it, or you want to just?
Yeah. It's like it's like edging.
Oh,
you know?
Boy, I love a good edge. So shall we? Let's touch on the Iron Islands thing here, because that shouldn't take long. Theon is a total asshole. We know this. We've talked about this. I hate the character, but I still kind of can't help but feel bad for him sometimes.
Yeah,
like his sister is such an unnecessary dick to him here. It's like she just crawls out of nowhere to shit all over him for just. I guess I shouldn't say no reason, because he was a total asshole to her first. But it just seems...
he groped her shit.
Yeah, no, I guess I'm defeating my own argument as I say it here. It just seems so uncalled for here. He's already just been humiliated about 1,000 times since coming back to the Iron Islands, and she's just piling on. But he has a kernel of a plan here with his boy Dagger, and we shall see where that leads. Obviously, they're attacking Torrhen Square. So good on him for trying to make some moves, but he sucks. He does suck. I don't like Yara either, though. So
yeah, I don't like Yara. There was a time when I was watching the show where I thought I wanted to like Yara.
Yeah,
but nah, she sucks.
Agreed.
She's a dick. I do like Dagmar though.
Dagmar's cool. Cool name. He's got just kind of a cool swarthy look to him too.
Yeah,
I think that guy fits.
Swarly.
Swarly. Swirls Barkley. You want to hit Winterfell, King's Landing, or let's see, what else do we have? Why don't we hit Winterfell since we're talking about Torrhen Square?
Okay. I mean, it's a quick one.
Yeah, not a lot there.
Quick one.
Oh, quick one. God damn it. Oh, Bobby B. So the main thing here is, I guess, just Bran's continuing kind of prophecy dreams. Yeah.
Yes.
I love how Osha calls him on the fact that it's like, you told me you didn't dream, you little shit. Now who's the liar? Which is pretty good. I guess there's not much else there.
I mean, so there is something to be said, I think. The show does a decent job at it, but the series as a whole, like including the books, dreams are incredibly important.
Yeah. Oh, super so. Yeah.
And obviously, I mean, like when it's put on screen, it's kind of a more in your face, like, hey, look at me, this is important.
Yeah.
But reading the books, there's just so much real. I mean,
symbolism.
We are not a book podcast, like like we don't want to be comparing all the time, but I just have to give it some props because it's done so. I mean, intricate and beautifully, really. I feel like in all the dreams, there's so many things that you can dissect and be like, oh, I think this might mean this. I think this might mean this.
And yeah, it would be tough to like. I think we've also mentioned this before, but as well done as the books do it, you cannot really adapt what's in the book one-to-one in the show either, because because it's a visual medium, it would be obvious of what they're portraying basically. So I think they do a pretty good job walking that line of, hey, letting us know, hey, dreams are important, they have meaning in this world, here's some teases about what they could mean, while not just like showing us, hey, this is what's gonna happen. So, because that is a difficult line to walk.
Definitely.
Let's hit the east. Yeah, real quick, I guess.
Okay.
Before we move to King's Landing, we're just
there's a party.
There's a party.
There's a party in Car.
No, I thought they were at a market.
Party market. It's the market party.
Let's go to the party market, bro.
Yeah. Look, Dany
exists.
Dany has some really big inner turmoil about choosing this dress.
We are such assholes to Dany.
It's a big deal. She's gotta pick a dress that's for a princess, but no, she's a Khaleesi. Can she wear this or not?
Oh, that scene is that I cannot stand that handmaiden. Why is that handmaiden such a just like?
She's not a princess. She's a Khaleesi.
She's not a princess. She's a Khaleesi. God. Go away! You are so lame,
Bro,
Jesus.
Sucks, dude. Yeah, the other one is like so hot and like cool.
She's just like, oh, look at, isn't he so cute? He's the richest man in cards. She's just doing like normal girl talk stuff.
Yeah,
and she's not a guy. She's a guy.
Yeah.
Dude, go away! You are so annoying.
Yeah.
There was one thing one part I do really like in the East. I will try and give praise where due. Is when the two Dothraki dudes are talking about stealing that statue. And just the way that Ser Jorah like delivers his lines here is like so funny. Where he's like, Malako says it is too heavy to carry. Kavaro says Malako is an idiot. And it's just like, the way that Ser Jorah delivers those lines is very funny, very good. So,
and
good
then
for him.
Malako, or whatever his name is, walking away and taking the drink. And
takes
like,
the cup.
Oh, hell yeah. Throws the wine out and
Like, free cup? Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So look, this is a real thing. I mean, because we do have to talk about it.
The
If we're gonna
Piet
do
Priest
justice to
stuff
the show,
is
we
important.
gotta talk. Yeah, we gotta talk about this. So,
Yeah.
Mr. Duck Sauce, he proposes a marriage for power, right? He's like,
Yeah.
look, this isn't about love.
Right. I already
You know,
married once for love. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, this is simply status. This
Yeah.
is simply power. You need what I can offer. I want what you can offer. Let's make this happen, and you'll get everything that's in my vault. This is the equivalent of like a dude on Tinder being like, look, I have a huge dick. I swear. I fucking swear.
Yeah, basically,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'll give you half of it because that's all you can take.
Jesus Christ. But it's locked behind this zipper.
It's locked. It's locked. You got to marry me first.
You gotta marry me first before all the locksmiths can't open this zipper. It's a fancy Italian-made zipper. This metaphor is falling apart.
Yeah.
Truly for power. He says, like, yeah, with prince and princesses, you have dragons, I've got wealth. Let's do this shit.
And she genuinely, and I think
she's genuinely
rightfully-
considering it. Yeah.
I think rightfully so. I mean, I think this is a lot to be offered.
Right.
She's considering it, and
So
she, of
Jorah's
course-
like, this is bad idea, don't like it, can't trust him.
and this might be one of the only times that I do teeter on that line. Like, obviously, we have the perspective of hindsight and
Right. Foreknowledge.
But in that moment, I mean, that marriage seems like a small price to pay
True.
to get all this that she's like, this is all I ever wanted, which
Right.
that's a whole other story, but it's all she's ever wanted.
Yeah.
And apparently she believes this to be a true offering.
I think the biggest thing, though, is just like, Ser Jorah is more just like preaching caution.
Yes.
And yes, probably part of it is that he is definitely in love with her and he doesn't want her to marry, someone else. He thinks he's still got a shot.
Sometimes when I look at you, I don't believe that you're real.
God damn it, Jorah, dude.
Bro,
Like,
come
hey,
on, dude.
Listen, if you're gonna just be cringe like that, just go all the way. Shoot your shot like Littlefinger did. You might as well just shoot your shot right then and there, but he doesn't.
Look, dude, I know that Drogo's dead, but like, hey, right here. I'm right here.
Literally a perfect analogy. Littlefinger shot his shot, and Jorah is still stuck in the friend zone. I just... You know what? I want to come back to a point later. Piet Pri, the Warlocks, they will be important for Dany's story going forward. He's a real fucking creep, but seems
So
to have
uncomfortable.
some kind of magical abilities or parlor tricks, as Duck Sauce tells her they are.
Ain't nothing but parlor tricks, brother.
Hey, it's a parlor trick, brother. They're mirrors.
All right, let's talk about the masked woman.
Okay.
She is named in the books,
Quaithe.
right?
Her name is
Quaithe.
Quaithe. Yeah.
Quaithe, okay. Not Kaith, like Karth.
I'm actually not sure now that you say that. Okay.
I think it is Quaithe.
I think it's Quaithe. She tells Ser Jorah basically like, hey, look out for her. You're her protector. Blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of all we get from her for right now. I don't think there's more we need to go into with her. Like, that's kind of all we have so far.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we... God damn it. I think we could come back to Quaithe later in the season.
Does Quaithe come back? Is
Yes.
there another?
There is. At least...
There is one more scene.
There is
you're
at
right.
least one other scene with her. I want to talk about Get Out of the Fucking East and talk about King's Landing, where Tyrion just continues his dominance.
His fucking terror, dude.
The scene with him and Lancel in the litter is so funny because
It's so tiny.
Poor Lancel is like scrunched up in a ball and just having to suffer all of Tyrion's just like bullshit because there's nothing he can do about it. And Tyrion even admits, he's like, fine, go away. Even torturing you is boring. Like, I love when he tells him, like, it's like, swear to me on what? And Lance is like, on my life. And Tyrion's like, I don't care about your life.
I don't care about your life. I think the best one is when Lancel gets out of the cart and he's like, Lancel, cousin, tell Bronn to kill you if anything should happen to me. And he just looks up at Bronn. He's like, please kill me if anything should happen to Tyrion.
And Bronn, it will be my pleasure.
My pleasure. It's so
Tyrion
good. It's
so good. I also got to give a big shout out to Lena Headey this episode. She is so proud of herself when she withholds that information from Tyrion.
Oh my God,
like,
yes.
Just the look on her face when she's given that line of, it is the king's royal prerogative to withhold information from his counselors. Like, it's just, she is like just holding back the biggest grin in the world. She is so proud of herself, and I love it.
It's her tantrum is so like, she just cannot see. It's crazy because I feel like Cersei is incredibly pragmatic as well.
I don't feel like this was that big of a tantrum though. Like,
well, like
she's just like, let's drink to Renly dying. This is so great. Hurrah
in
for
regards
us.
to like Myrcella being sent to Dorne.
Okay,
she cannot accept, like, look, Cersei, I know that you don't like me.
Right.
I'm not doing this to punish you. Like, literally, Myrcella will die. All of us will die.
Yeah. It's just that's a thing with Cersei of just her children. Like, she is so protective of her children. She just cannot accept someone else taking their fate out of her hands, basically. I do. Speaking of that, a line I have here from Tyrion that's so good is where he tells her, Myrcella's a sweet, innocent girl, and I don't blame her at all for you. And so Cersei just has to be like, you're so clever. You think you're so clever. I guess she does kind of throw a tantrum.
Yeah, she throws a tantrum, for sure.
But she's Lena. We don't give Lena Headey enough praise.
No,
maybe we do,
she
but
incredible
she's phenomenal.
Portrayal of Cersei.
Yeah. She's so good.
Can't picture anybody else doing it.
Yeah, for reals. Anything? Oh, the pyromancer stuff.
I mean, look, it is what it is. I mean, we mentioned it in the recap.
Right.
There's not a whole lot more there other than them talking a whole lot of shit.
Well, Bronn talks mostly about pig shit, which is pretty funny.
We don't deal in pig shit.
That dude is so offended. Like, he's so mad at Bronn. I love the pyromancer dude, his reaction to when Tyrion tells him, I read an old sailor's proverb, piss on wildfire and your cock burns off. And he's just like, he takes it like fully, he's like, oh, well, I can't say I've conducted this experiment, but it may be true.
He goes into a full, like, long-winded explanation
Tyrion's
of, like,
basically cracking a joke, and the dude is treating it like it's dead serious. Yeah, he's like,
he does right over his head.
Maybe I should try that. That does seem like a good experiment. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you can tell this guy definitely gets off to some wildfire.
Oh yeah, he uses that as his lube for 100%. 100%.
He likes the burn. Yikes.
Yikers. That's a big yikers from us. Real quick, I feel bad for Tyrion when Bronn has to tell him, like, hey dude, you're the demon monkey, brother. People
That's
hate
right.
you.
I didn't actually write this into the recap.
Yeah, it's a quick scene. People are not happy. Quick one. With the condition of the city, there is like basically famine, very low food, and people are unhappy. And they blame Joffrey, but more than Joffrey, they blame the one they think is pulling his strings, which could
devil
not be,
monkey.
Yeah, the demon monkey. Which could not be further from the truth. Tyrion is literally doing everything in his power to try and save the city. but people do not see that way. And I feel bad for him because he's doing his damnedest and people just shit on him. But what are you going to do? That's being in a position of authority sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway.
I think, Scotty, I think that's
time.
everything.
I think it's
everywhere
time.
else. It's time?
It's time.
Okay.
I have a nomination.
We have a nomination.
We have a nomination. Holy shit! Scene is so good.
Yeah, we are given in this episode the first of many actually scenes between Tywin and Arya, as Arya being the cupbearer on these War Council meetings, and each one is incredible in its own right. But I do feel like this one is maybe the best one.
I'll have to. I'm vaguely remembering some others. It's tough to say before I watch.
There's only one other that I think could contend against this one, and I will be nominating it. By the way, I know I will.
This one is very good. We are of course talking about the Tywin Arya scene at Harrenhal. This was a couple episodes ago. I mentioned there are three things I always think of when I think of season 2. One being Tyrion's continued hot streak, which we've seen throughout the episodes. The second one is this. The Arya and Tywin scenes are such a delight every time I rewatch through.
Yeah.
It's just, like I said, in comparison to what we saw between like Catelyn and Brienne, how amazing is Maisie Williams?
Dude, yeah, man. We cannot talk about her enough, man. She is, like, here's the thing, and this is going to, I may have already said this, but this is something we're going to say again next season, and I know you know what I'm talking about. Maisie Williams is continuously part of the equation in these fucking fantastic scenes.
Yeah.
Always. She's there, and she's not just there as like a fly on the wall.
Right.
She is there in the scene, making it as great as it can be.
That's what I wanted to focus on, because she is sharing a scene with Charles Dance, who every scene he's been in is just like, I am the master here. I'm giving you a class in acting. I am the best.
Right.
And then Maisie Williams, who is very young, comes in and shares a scene with him, and she doesn't just hold her own. She fucking, like you said, elevates the scene and matches him beat for beat, and their back and forth is so good, dude. It's so, like, just how she can be, like, so kind of, like, charming, but, like, you know, still playing her part of being, like, you know, this, I'm just this, you know, cupbearer, I can't let anybody know who I am. She's so good. And this back and forth between them, where he, you know, of course, is questioning her of where she's from, and she tries to lie, and he's like, gotcha. And then she comes up with a better lie, and it works. And the way, just, man, I watched the scene like 2 or 3 times. I had to rewind it and go back because it's so good. The subtle facial movements and like the way their eyes move in this scene for the both of them, it's like I can't even imagine. Like, I am not an actor myself, but like how they play that so well is just staggering to me.
Yeah, it is.
They're both so good.
It's almost like, I mean, this is gonna sound like a little cliche, you know, but like they are just such at the height of their game that seeing them trade blows like this, it is just like, I mean, it's like, and honestly too, we do credit where it's due, of course, the way that it is shot as well.
Yes, for sure.
It's framed really well, and it makes this back and forth like they're trading blows or like a dance, right? It's just like, it flows so fucking good, and every time I watch it, I am just baffled at how young Maisie Williams is and how she's able to do this to this degree.
That's the staggering part for me. It's
absurd,
so
dude.
impressive. And Arya is just such a cool character to begin with, and then she's elevated by the performance so much. I love my favorite part is at the end where, you know, he asks her, like, where she tells him all about the Robb Stark stuff, and
right,
you know, she says, like, they say he can't be killed, and he asks her finally, like, do you believe that? And she looks him dead in the eyes and just goes, no, my lord, anyone can be killed. And just like
stares.
And just stares at him. And just like
he goes, fetch that water.
And just Tywin Charles Dance just kind of, there's that subtle eye movement where he meets her gaze and he knows exactly what she is like implying. And it's almost like there's a respect there of like, girl, you have got some guts and I can't help but respect it. Go get me that damn water. And it's just, it's so good. So good. It's just a treat to watch, honestly. I love it so much.
I think it's funny because it's moments like this that make me think of our friends Sam and Emily. I think I told you one time. For those of you guys who don't know, if you're new to the We Don't Want a podcast because of Game of Thrones, we have some friends, Sam and Emily, on a podcast called Harry Potter and the Half Drunk podcast.
Shouts to them. They're great.
Shouts to them. They're great. Their show's fantastic. Anyway, we've traded a couple episodes between us, and I think it was Sam that made the comment one time that our favorite thing to do is just say, it's so good.
True. Big true. Yeah. We do like to do that.
And it's in scenes like this where I'm like, we should probably start getting a little more creative with
it. Can't help it. It's just truly so good.
It really is truly so good, man.
The other stuff that also happens with Arya in this episode is almost as good though.
Yeah, even her scene with Jack and Hagar is great.
Yeah. Return of Jaqen, who she saved from the fire, of course. He's back and he's an assassin, basically. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill 3 people for you. Name any names you want, and they're dead. I'll kill them. Don't worry about it. Easy peasy. And Arya's thought process and like her selection is explored much deeper. No. Her erection. God damn it. Her like reasoning for why she chooses the names that she will come to choose. Obviously, we only see one here, but is more fleshed out in the book, obviously, because you can have inner dialogue in a book form much easier than you can have on the show. But yes, to the point you alluded to earlier of like she could have, you know, ended the war, done a lot of maybe very important things here. She does have. Also, she's much younger in the books, too, which that plays into it of she's kind of, you know, she's a
little more emotional and reactional.
She's a little more emotional and reactional because she is very young. But yeah, she's like, I don't like that torturer dude. You should just kill him. I think for this one specifically, the argument here in her favor is she's kind of testing Jaqen. Like, is this guy full of shit or...
Right.
Will this actually work? Will he actually kill this person for me? So she says the name, someone I don't like, go kill him, and he does very effectively.
Yeah.
So now I love how the end of the episode, you can see it on her face, like the wheels are turning with the possibilities now. And she is, of course, the titular Ghost of Harrenhal. She is... She had just a stellar episode. She's making some moves.
Oh yeah,
she is making some moves.
Dude, I'm just so happy that we are in a point of the series where we're gonna get to talk about these Arya Tywin scenes.
Yeah. Dude, I could not wait for this.
It makes me so happy.
I could not wait for this. Yeah, we'll get a couple more. They're all so good. And here's the thing. I don't want to make this a big deal, but what I wanted to touch on earlier.
Too late.
Yeah, too late. The comparison between Arya and Daenerys. They are both young female characters who have been put in some really shitty, unfortunate situations beyond their power.
Right.
And I can't help but constantly praise Arya for her willingness and her ability to learn and adapt and grow from people around her. She takes things from the people that she meets, people who are older, people who are wiser, people who are good at sword fighting, even enemies.
Right.
And she just grows and changes and adapts and does whatever she needs to do to get by.
Yeah, and you know that's okay, so I've actually never really thought about it in that light, and I'm glad that you're bringing it up. It's important to acknowledge that, and also I might counter a little bit of your sentiment, but
Okay.
I think this is equally as important. Dany sets her story up like that. She starts growing. She starts adapting. She starts learning from the Khalasar.
Right.
She really actually puts herself in a position where she could go on that trajectory.
She had a solid start on it. True.
And she just cannot get away from throwing childlike tantrums and simply just not looking. Because I know the main thing that you are comparing is Arya's willingness to take in what's being given to her and like become a better person.
Right.
And Dany really, really struggles to take advice.
Right.
She does not listen to the people that she has, even herself has put in place to advise her.
Yeah.
She does not take their advice.
And I'm not saying she needs to take every advice. Like we talked in this episode, Jorah's advice is like pretty self-serving, seemingly.
Right.
Not every time, but
they're both victims of their circumstances for sure. And they both are able to learn from those circumstances. But I still, at the end of the day, I still think Arya younger, okay? And literally in the middle of an enemy.
Right.
I mean, she's a prisoner.
She's a prisoner, yeah.
Is even still just so much more adaptable and willing to force herself to grow, I think.
And I think you make an excellent point about how Dany started on that trajectory. It's almost like she hit a wall. Like she hit that moment with Drogo and Mirri Maz-Dur, Drogo dying and Mirri Maz-Dur betraying her and her dragons being born. And she hit that, and now it's like she thinks she's invincible. Like, I can do no wrong. I'm hot shit. I birthed these dragons. I'm always right now. And that is what truly irks me, because it's like, you're not. Like, look at Arya. I shouldn't have even brought this up, but it's just like, that's what makes Arya such a much more interesting character to me, is because she is in constant shitty situations, like beyond her control, but yet she is making the most of them consistently and constantly.
Crazy too is like, I feel like when you think of a woman in power in this show who could be in a position of like leadership, whether it's ruling the entire kingdom or one of the 7 kingdoms, I feel like oftentimes you probably will picture people like Cersei or Marjorie.
Yeah.
Or later down the road, Elena. And you just can't help but look at that and be like, Daenerys could never.
Right.
She could never have the political. What am I trying to say here, Scott? Like
she's too rigid.
She doesn't have the finesse, the political finesse to be able to work with people to run a country.
She reminds me of Stannis sometimes. She's just so like rigid and unbending.
Yeah.
And like my way or the highway about it sometimes. And it's just like, take a lap, take a break.
Yeah,
like with both of them, it's like, take a lap, Stannis, my dude. Yeah. Just cool it for a bit. And Dany, you too, just like.
And now that she's gotten a taste of power, she just reminds me more and more of Viserys every day.
True. Big true. One more thing I wanted to call out here. I don't know if you have much more, but
No.
we should probably get to the who be thrown in. I loved her interaction with Jack, and we touched on this a little bit, but when she is basically like mad at him for joining the Lannisters.
Oh yeah.
And he calls her out. He's like, "You serve wine for them now. How is that any different?" And
why is this okay for you, but not okay for me?
Exactly. And she's like, "Well, I didn't have a choice." And he said to her, "You had a choice, or you did. I did, and now we are here." And it's just like, that's such a good line, because it's like, there's always a choice. It may not be the choice you want, or a choice that will let you live necessarily, but listen, these are the actions we take, and the actions have consequences. And now here we are. Arya is going to take that, and she's going to learn from it, because that's what she does.
Yeah. No, that's a super good call out. I do have one last quick thing here. You actually reminded me with the Jaqen scene. That scene there where she's fetching the water, and then the scene where she looks up and he's standing on the catwalk. Jaqen, anytime he's on screen, he has this like theme music. This like it's meant to be like the Eastern. And it is so cheesy, and I hate it.
What? Really?
I hate it. It's like, it's the most like okay, if you're playing a video game and you hear that, you're like, oh, I'm next to a chest. Like I'm next to like
nearby.
Yeah, there's a secret nearby, and it's like, way to just like make this dude such a fucking like mystery.
I don't think I agree with this.
I hate it, dude. I hate it so much.
That's fine. I'll allow it. Let's move into. We're going a little long here. Let's move into who be thrown in.
I always go a little long, if you know what I mean.
You definitely don't, but I do know what you mean. At the end of last episode, where we last left off, Tyrion had taken our number 1 spot. The dude's on fire. He's on fire. Robb Stark at number 2. Renly, I might come off the list. He was at number 3. Davos, my dude, was at number 4, and Tywin at number 5. I'm just gonna go ahead and start us off here by taking Renly off the list. Sorry, my dude. R.I.P. I'm just gonna go ahead and make an executive decision and bring Arya into the works, because she is definitely making the list.
You don't have to say it like it's like this is you laying down the law.
Listen, I didn't mean it like that, but was Robb in this episode?
He was not.
Robb can come off. We need to make some space anyway. Agreed?
Yeah, I agree.
Davos was made an admiral this episode, so I think he stays.
Yeah, okay. Oh, and I think Stannis comes up.
I think Stannis has to. Stannis won a big, a lot of men just came to his side. Yeah. So I think he has to come on the list.
Okay. This is where we're going to have a little bit of debate, I think, is the order. Because I think these are our 5. I can't think of anybody else.
I'm looking through the list. I did want to make... You're going to hate me. I did want to make a case for my boy Sam.
No, I will not allow it.
Sam is just so chipper and cheerful about everything when he has almost no right to be. He takes over Jon's duties so Jon can live his dream of becoming a ranger. He's so
I'm tired of this already. Stop. Sam is not on the list.
Why do you hate Sam?
I don't hate Sam. I love Sam, but he's not in contention here.
Okay. If this week wasn't stacked with strong candidates, I would give you a much harder fight here, but I think the 5 is probably already selected. So I will concede Sam, even though he deserves it. I'm just running through anyone.
You're so ridiculous.
You're so ridiculous. Fuck off. Tywin is number 1. Arya is number
1. I honestly think Tyrion stays at 1, but
do you?
Yeah, I do actually.
Interesting. I wouldn't be opposed to
he has
that,
good scenes. His position is still incredibly good.
but he didn't have the best scene.
Well, no,
fair.
but still, that's why we have a list for the best scenes.
I know.
Look, I think that Tywin's going to move up.
Okay. I have a strong case for Arya to actually be number one. Not only was she a fucking baller in this episode, but she now has a magical assassin at her beck and call. That is a big win.
It is.
She also taught Gendry that he needs to stand side face. She's, passing along her knowledge. She's so great.
I just think that.
Let's try it on for size and see how it looks.
I feel like Arya's 2 and Tyrion's 1. Look, Tyrion also just has. I mean, I don't know that this is a factor really, but in my head it is. Tyrion just has such insane momentum right now that this dude has been on a tear and he hasn't stepped down from that. Like, he's still firing on all cylinders at the same speed he has been.
True, but he's kind of taking some pseudo L's this episode. Like, he gets the whole demon monkey thing. He's, that's upsetting.
Yeah, okay, but he seizes Cersei's production of wildfire.
But also bear in mind that he's now in a really rough position because he was counting on the Baratheons keeping each other busy for a while, and now he's basically got Stannis coming at him full steam ahead, no delay. So that's bad. Like, the city is not in a good spot. I'm not saying this is... Honestly, these things are no faults of Tyrion's. But
it does affect his position.
It does affect his position.
Okay, so let's just say for a second I agree with Arya being first.
Okay, let's just assume that for a
say,
second.
Do we think with the comments you just made, do we think Tyrion at second? Or do you think Stannis?
That's what I was going to say. I don't love Stannis, but he made a big power play for him. A big, momentum swinger for him happened this episode. My heart says keep Tyrion at 2. My head almost says this Stannis should go above him, though.
Well, look, I think if we decided, hey, this week we're sticking to power ranking, right? Like their actual, what they're doing. We don't ever
stick to anything. I think Davos is 5. I'm just going to go ahead and put him there now. I love Davos, and he did become an admiral this episode, but the others have more going for them.
Yes.
It's the placement of these other 3 that I am torn on. I just like Tyrion more. So I want to keep him above Stannis.
Okay, and then where do we put Tywin? See, I actually think Tywin's after Tyrion and then Stannis at 4.
I was about to say that, so I'm glad you agree.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Now, can you just figure out how to select Tywin? Because I see you struggling with that.
No, shut up. That's not happening. The folks can't see that. Neither can you. So you can fuck off. Okay. This feels right. Stannis and his Onion Knight can be together, and we can have the Lannisters
Give
together.
Us the list.
Yes.
From bottom to top.
This was a tough week, I must say. The last couple weeks have been tough. Okay, bottom to top, we're going backwards this week. My boy Sir Davos Seaworth, number 5, stays on the list 2 weeks in a row. Stannis Baratheon, big win. He has his brother's armies now. He is at 4. Tywin Lannister, which is an unbelievably good scene, at 3. Tyrion, he's still going strong. Yes, he's kind of in a worse spot than he was last week, but he is still making moves, going strong at 2. And fucking Arya Stark has a magical assassin dude on her side, and she is just about the coolest character on this show currently.
God
the number
damn,
one
she's
spot.
so good.
She's
Gods,
so good.
I was strong then.
Gods, I was strong then. Big shouts to Arya, big shouts to Maisie Williams, big shouts to Charles Dance. I love all these characters. Well, except Stannis. I shouldn't say that. I don't love all these characters.
Yeah,
I love four of these 5 characters. That is Who Dethroned Her. I think that's it. I think that's our list. That's a strong list.
That was a tough one.
For having one of my favorite scenes in the entire series, having to put Tywin at 3rd does hurt me a little bit, but I think it's the right move. So,
well, I appreciate that. I don't know. Can I call it humility?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I appreciate the humility.
Please praise my humility. Please. Please.
Oh boy. I think that's gonna do it, Scotty. You got anything else?
I think that'll do it. No, that's a solid episode. The North and the East notwithstanding.
Why don't you take us out, man? Why don't you close us out here?
Please join the Face Watches and the YouTubes, and I'm so bad at this. Like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Join the Discord.
On YouTube, I love that band.
Yes. I'm pretty sure we have a Discord. Follow us on Twitter and Instagrams. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We do appreciate it. If you are listeners only, you know, maybe shoot on over to the YouTube and hit the subscribe just for the heck of it, you know, just if you feel like it. Because most of you still are listening.
Yeah.
But
I think it is actually something like 9.
It's like 95%.
It's like 95, 96%.
Yeah.
It's something stupid crazy.
I did all this lovely production for no one. No, I'm just kidding. I'm happy to do it. We're happy to have you listening. We're happy to have you watching. You enjoy the podcast however you would like. But please tell your friends, tell your grandmas, tell your neighbors. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been a lot of fun. Zachy boy, you got anything else?
I think that's gonna do it, Scotty. Cool. You nailed that, by the way.
Oh, thank you. It was so smooth. At We Don't Want a Pod. You know what time it is. It's time for us to say goodbye. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.